Hello, welcome. Hi, Michelle.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, so are there more people in the waiting room or are we good to go?
I don't have anybody else in the waiting room.
Okay, then we're good to go. So welcome to Painting Flat Art on a Round Surface. I'm Pat Kehoe, a member of the Island Artists Gallery, and um, although I'm not the world's expert on painting buoys, it is a really wonderful challenge and a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that a lot of the artists around will enjoy it. And then, so I thought what we do, Michelle is going to talk just a little bit about the Brave Heart project, and then I will give kind of an overview of the buoy issues, and then people can get started painting or drawing, and then I will continue on with a little bit of talk about composition at the same time. And Ellie, oh, there, okay. Okay, so Michelle, do you want to take over this
Uh,
one of the booths
sure,
hanging?
sure. So I just thank you everyone for coming. I am the representative, I guess, from Brave Heart, and this is our second time launching this fundraiser, and just a couple of things. It is our 20th anniversary this year, and so we're kind of just putting out there this little bit of a theme, um, that Be of Braveheart is the theme, and really any way you choose to interpret that is going to be great. So I also like to kind of keep track of who's doing a buoy. So if you can send me, if I don't already have you on the list of people, you could send me your email and I could just kind of keep track of that and kind of update you with things. But we are aiming to have the buoys out, hanging downtown by May. And thank you. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Pat, for organizing this. And we're really looking forward to seeing what everybody creates. So thank you.
Thank you. And let me click on to the next. Oh, I think I'm doing Francis's trick of going backwards and forwards. The one thing that I wanted to say in addition to that is that Braveheart provides more than $100,000 or roughly $100,000 worth of free care to people in need in Sitka and to caregivers. And so I think it's a really wonderful thing that we as artists can step up and help out with the fundraising because as the Sitkans all know, the Brave Heart Bowl fundraiser is not happening because of the COVID situation, and we hope it will be again, but we're going to do this in the meantime. And let's see, this is one of the buoy. Why? Okay, so this is one of the buoys hanging by the church downtown. There were buoys all over town, and I'm really hoping that we'll have more than we had last year for this year. So we have until May to get these finished and hanging, and I would love to see lots of people do buoys. Yeah, let's see if I can manage to operate this thing. Thinking about Ellie, it's jumping. I'm sorry. Give me just a moment for technical issues. I'm on to slide 6. I need 3, I think. Oh, that's much better. Thank you.
Of course.
Well,
And I would try just pressing your spacebar.
okay. Okay. This is a design that David Gross did. This is one of his paintings. I would you can do any kind of design that you please. One of the things that when you're painting on a buoy, you need to think of it as it's a round surface. And so, although all of the other compositional things kind of apply, the one of the big issues is that you're you need to be looking at the bottom of the buoy. And I don't know if there's one here. So when this buoy's hanging, this is the one I'm working on right now. When it's hanging up above you on the street, you're seeing the bottom side of it. And so you really need to think about your design, that if you're doing something that's, say, for instance, this puffin that's on the water, I'm going to need to do something down in this area that carries the design through. Otherwise, it's going to be really boring when you're walking past it on the street. So something like David has this kind of abstract design there, that would go around a buoy really easily and be lots of fun. I think, you know, your heart's desire, except the thing that I came up against last year when I did my buoy for the first time, my problem was that I'm used to painting with edges, and you do a landscape, you've got a nice horizon line, and then you've got edges at the side, and that doesn't work with buoys. So I'm going to show you a number of buoys that people have done in Sitka, and this is one of the a unique style of buoy. Adrienne Wilbur actually did cutouts in the buoy and pounded spikes in the bottom, and she planted a little garden in hers. The sky's the limit as far as what you can do. Ellie, can I just ask you, I have little notes somewhere at the bottom and they're not showing up. I don't know how to get to my notes.
Oh,
Notes, but no. Sorry, guys.
hold on, wait.
Hmm?
Yeah, nope, sorry.
That's okay.
Great, and then let's go full screen again.
Okay.
Perfect, you're good to go.
Okay. I'd be good to go, except my memory is, you know, fatally flawed. This is one that that is the absolute opposite of what I've been saying. This is one with mountains and a horizon line and fish, and she just did a wonderful job. And another one, this is one that Ashia Lane did, and hers is lupin. It's bright, sunny, full of life, and really attractive when you're walking down the street. This is one that Jared Galanin did, and his is just a wonderful design. One thing on this, though, think about how you're going to hang the buoy, and you know, if you can, you know, maybe incorporate the string into it. Ones that didn't have any, Michelle last year went through and did the put line of some sort in it. But if you can do something that fits in with your design, that's great. And this is one, most of the buoys I've done, I've primed with plain house paint or house primer. That works really well. This is an unprimed buoy, and she did this is, I'm not going to remember him. Ali Spurlock, I think, is the creator of this one, and her design she painted on the untreated buoy, and it looks gorgeous. And then we planned to, after the buoys are painted, to coat them with a couple of coats of spar varnish so they'll be better able to take outdoor weather. There are some that we'll get to. Here's a delicate jewel by Eco Sullivan, beautiful, delicate hummingbirds and flowers, and those are all wonderful things to do on buoys because you can work it around the buoy, and it you know, you don't have to worry about some of those round issues. Here's one that DJ Robidoux did, a little more abstract, really fun design. Lots of people chose to do marine designs. You know, we live in a marine climate, and so most people around here are fascinated with the underwater world. So there were a number of different versions of octopus. Can you check that for me and see if that's somebody trying to get in? Okay, and here's one that James Paulson, he did a couple of sides to the buoy, very different styles. And okay, Liz Zacher and Mark Sixby did a couple of buoys, another couple of different versions of octopus. Not everybody did octopus, but there are a variety. This is one done by Jan Steinbright, and it's a totally different take on a buoy, and this one needs to be indoors, and that's fine too. We have a few places inside that we can do buoys, and so this is just a fun, whimsical buoy. So here's one. This is the one that I'm working on for this year, and I have it here. I don't know. Let's see. So the one side I'm doing a tufted puffin paddling in the water, and then the other side is one swimming, and then I'm planning to put another puffin down through the bottom area, and then some schools of little fish that the puffins are chasing around. And then this is one I'm doing it'll be a horizontal hang, so I'll have it attached from both sides. And so, let's see. I think that's the main thing on my buoy work. We've had people generally use acrylic paint. Oil-based paints definitely don't work. I know Frances was considering doing hers in watercolor, painting the buoy with a watercolor ground, and then doing watercolors, and then we'll varnish over the top of the watercolors, and that's a wonderful option too. So when I'm working on a buoy, what I've been the other one that I'm planning on working on tonight, I'm going to do a blue heron, and so I painted the blue heron, and then I held, and let me go on to the next slide and see if nope, back up one. Somewhere in here I have a picture of doing the work, but so I held this picture up against the window, and then I traced it onto a piece of paper. So I have the basic image on a piece of paper, and then I take that, and I have my buoy here. This is my buoy that I'm working on now. I just happen to have a can of blue house paint that I painted all my buoys with, if you're wondering about the blue color. So this one, once I painted the buoy with a background color, then I take my paper cutout and I just laid it on the buoy, and I used a washable marker, like a children's marker, anything but an indelible one, or a black or really dark pencil, to make, to just draw my lining on the buoy. And so I will do this side, and I'm going to start working on painting this one tonight. Anyway, so I don't know if you can see, but the lines are there in a yellow, and that's good enough for me to be able to see. When I paint on mine, I have a bucket or any kind of flower pot jug, and I just set the buoy in that, makes it stable, and you can work on it in any direction. And then my other trick that I don't know if I can show you, but I have my buoy on a line, and which is tied off to the table. And so I can hang the buoy, and I can just haul it up and see what the underside of the this one's still blank, but so you can see what it looks like while you're working on it, because otherwise sometimes you work along and you realize that all your work's on the top of the buoy and you've kind of neglected the underside. So while I'm working, I just pull it up and paint on it and then lower it back down to its pot there. And you're good to go. I think, since I can't see my notes that I carefully went through and put on the PowerPoint because they're lost somewhere in the technical ozone, I apologize. I think if any of you are ready to get started on your buoy, go for it. And I will go on to talk a little bit about composition, and you can listen and, look if you have any questions, and we'll go from there. I guess brushes, I use any brushes that I have. Mostly, I have some really cheap brushes that I got maybe at True Value somewhere. Anyway, anything that comes to a pretty good point, but I don't use my great watercolor brushes. I use ones that are, around, and some of them are watercolor brushes, but not any that are really special. You can get acrylics out of anything if you wash them out right away. And with any brush, I keep 2 containers of water. I keep one that's for dirty water and one that's for clean water. And so I just clean my brush in one and then, dip it into the other one to be ready to go. But never leave your brush down, sitting down in your water. Just, clean it and then pull it out of the water. And then I have a rag that I set things on. I just use an old plate for my palette. Acrylics are, they dry quickly. And so I also use an acrylic glazing liquid, and that helps extend the life of the paint a little longer. So, but don't put a huge amount of paint out on your palette because it will turn to acrylic plastic. There are tricks, you can try and save them for longer, but basically they don't last forever. So I just do it on a plate, and then when I'm done painting, I wash the plate off, and sometimes I don't wash it off very well. That's why it looks like that. Okay, so moving on, I wanted to talk about composition. And composition is really about how do you show what you're seeing? What is it that's interesting to you, and why do you want to share it with people? So this is a shot this is going from Kalinin Bay down through Stanitsin. There's a little channel there. It's gorgeous. And when I look at it, it's stunning. When I try and paint it, it's dead, it's lifeless. All of our colors tend to be really monotonous. And so painting is about, it's not about what you really are seeing, it's about what you want to portray. And so when you take a scene like this, and I want to paint this, I haven't yet, but one of the first things that I will do, I took a photograph of it as I went by it on the boat, and then this is my value sketch, and I don't know if you can see it very well, but the point of a value sketch is really to come up with your lights and your darks, and just kind of come up with your basic plan for your painting. And when I do my value sketch, I'll go back in and I'll, like right now I can look at it and I'm going to say, I want to darken some of my darks down. I know I need, just some more punch. And then the other thing that, like in my rocks that I'm working on in here or in the mountains, think of them in terms of shapes, not individual objects. So I'm really looking at these as a group of rocks, and you're gonna have some color variation in there, but those are really one, kind of one shape. And then the mountains, the same thing. The mountains will be, a paler shape in the background. And when you're looking at something with a horizon line, you want to think of the area above the water and then the shadows down into the water as really all in one big shape. And then you're going to draw a line or leave a little bit of a line to break those up, but it's really one shape. And so, I really want my focus to be, I love this rock formation over in here, and I'll probably darken some of this area up just to make that'll be my focus. And then with the trees, kind of a secondary focus. And one of the things in, compositionally, I'm gonna, like this tree I bring up through the mountain line, and it's really nice to break those shapes. Your eye really likes to see things that are a little asymmetrical, a little unusual. And if you have your mountains up here and then your trees across and then your rocks, you get right into that monotonous stage. So think about your using the objects. Charles Reed, who's a watercolorist and a great painter, was a great painter and teacher, he suggested that your painting works best when it's 75% large shapes, and works less well if you have it 75% small shapes. So that's kind of, I'll kind of combine these rocks to make it large shapes. Okay, let's see. My value sketch. Okay, so the rules of composition are really there to get your eye to move around the painting and then to come back to it and linger there. So I mean, I really have never met a rule that I didn't like to break occasionally. But really look at your painting, your drawing, whatever you're doing, and if it doesn't seem like it's working, think about your composition, and then doing your value sketch is a great way to come up with that, with your, to kind of work out some of the problems in your composition. To think about it as drawing a visual map for the viewer, and that, I've got some, I think as I go on in the next slides, we'll have some pictures. Okay, this is one that I really love, this kelpie area. Let's see if I can get this kelpie area in here. I was really happy with it. This piece up in here, the rocks up above it, they really bothered me. That shape just seems blah. But I wanted this to be my focus of interest down in here. And I was happy with the way this kind of rolls around with the water and the little bit of the trees in the background. So let's see, the next one should. Okay, so I framed it down and got rid of a lot of that area, matted it down. This is temporary, but I think I'm happy with it, with that, with just a little bit of that upper area, the rocks showing. And one of the other a composition trick is to have shapes go off the paper. That's just another of the things that makes it more interesting for your eye. And so this is, I think this may be my final piece, but I won't swear to it. If I went over what he said before, apologies. But these are some pictures by Charles Reed that he talks about large shapes and uniting the things in your piece. And he had these boats that are kind of the one similar color, and it kind of all blends in together. Similar color with the clouds in the background. That the less fussy, the less busy your painting is, the better off you are. This is one of mine. This is an old one. And I kind of, I felt like I followed all the rules, and it's just kind of boring. It just um, I like the painting, but if I were to do it now, I definitely would put more darks into it than what are here. And the reason I have this one here, I wanted to talk about the rule of thirds, which is one of the big composition um, um, the rules. And basically, you divide your paper in thirds, both horizontally and vertically. And those places where your lines meet, here and here and here and here, this is the area where you want to have your focus, assuming you're following the rules. And what you really want to avoid is having your focus be in the center of your picture. If when you do that, it just stops your eye right there, and people don't go on to look around the whole picture. Our eyes are kind of funny. We're really prone to, if we see a house, a man-made structure, um, a lighthouse. Lighthouses really do it. Your eye goes right there and stays there. If you put a person in your painting, if you put an animal, again, those are the things that grab your eyes. So they're great, but think about where you put them. And another thing to consider, and all of these are ones, they call them rules, but think of them as considerations, that if you want to if you have a person or any animal, living object in your painting, think about where it's facing. And you really, if you can, you want it to face into the painting, unless you're trying to give a feeling of isolation and maybe it's about the feeling. Sometimes you definitely want to have them aim the other direction, but generally speaking, you're trying to work to get people to pay more attention to all of the aspects of the painting and how they work together. Overlapping shapes, really, really wonderful. This one's one that I did. This was based on the ladies at the Pioneer Home who would sit out on the porch and watch the sun go down, and they all had their hats on, and I kind of made them my own people, but I love the way their clothes kind of flow one into the next, and I think I've got some other examples of that in a minute. If I don't, I will talk more about that later. And if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat, or do one of those little hand signals. Okay, this is the, oops, no, back there. I'm not sure why it's not centered in the image, but this is the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence is found in all sorts of things in nature. It's kind of it's the number sequence of the sum of the previous two numbers. So it's 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. And so the Fibonacci sequence, our eye really likes it. It's in pine coats, it's in succulents, it's ammonites, all sorts of things in nature. And this shape, big waves have the shape. It's just it's really inviting to people, and it does that same thing, that it has you moving your way around the painting. Circle, almost a circle. It's not my favorite fish, but it definitely had the circle idea. I was actually doing this for a project, but yeah, our eye likes a circle also. It's one of those things that just helps people move through something. Cropping. This is a piece that I did down in Washington. I really don't, this tree is way too intense. And so I cropped it down, and this is much better. I'm not sure that it's enough. I probably will just do it again because I like the little cannery sheds down in the side, on the right side of the picture, but this really pulls your attention too much, and it's better over here. Um, it's better than it was on the other side, but it's still, I think it's probably still too much. So some of these are just, these are my practice pieces. They're not finished. They're not necessarily anything that I'll want to do anything with, but I'm trying to use them to kind of illustrate ideas of composition. This one, it's just kind of ho-hum. But I matted it down and it gets better. You know, I feel like there's just not enough interest in it. See. But then I matted it down a little further, and this, I think maybe there might be a painting there. And that, I don't know if I have. One of the things I use a lot for looking at composition, I took a mat, just a basic mat, and I cut it in half at each end. And so then you can make, you can frame things. Oh, there I am. If you put me right in the middle, it's boring. If you put me off to the side a little, it's better. It's just, I have a similar piece for using in smaller paintings. This is great, and I don't know if you can really see it, but this piece moves, and so you can make it larger, smaller, and I was trying to find a, let's see, I was trying to find a painting in these rocks. And it may be there, but anyway, it's another similar, it's just a handy device for how to frame your work. Cameras are great. Cameras kind of do it for you, and you can look around.
Did you get that?
Where did I get this?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
It is cool. I don't know where I got that. I'm sorry. I can find it out, but I don't remember. Simplify. I love the swans and the ducks, and it's just way too busy. But you could take that and you can combine the shapes and the colors and come up with move the swans. Right now, they're really right in the center of the picture. You could probably come up with a good painting out of it, but simplify. Odd numbers. Our eyes, generally speaking, really like to see threes a favorite number for our little brains. But any time, if you can come up with odd numbers rather than even, people will be more engaged by it. Here's my rule of three broken, and I regret it. This one, let's see, where's my pointer? I really love this group of the crows. And then there was actually an eagle that was coming in on it. And so I put the eagle in, and I really regret it. But I'm going to do this again because I really love this area where the light catches his shoulder, and down in here, and the light and the dark and the sparkle in these guys. The next time I do it, I'll probably come up with something darker up in here, but not an eagle. So instead of having 4 there, I'll go back to my rule of 3. Break the rules. Norm Campbell did this wonderful tree, set of trees, 4, and they're right in the center of the picture. But he uses the combination of the darks and the lights. And when he does his trees, there's three that are just a little closer than the fourth one together, and it's enough that it makes it interesting, and your eye follows around and checks out different areas of it and comes back. It's a wonderful piece, breaking the rules. So now I think we're into some of the buoys that people did last year, and I thought you might want to look at those and just kind of get an idea of what people did last year. Mary Chambers did birds, and then she has another one that's kelp and a marine picture, and it's not a very good picture of it, I'm sorry. This one, Kaylee Cunningham, did wonderful fish. Lots of marine things, because again, that's where we live. Ooh, that might be my last slide. So if people want to work on their paintings, and if anybody has any questions, please let me know. And so I will grab mine out. Oh, another thing that I keep on hand is just a mat. And we'll just, a small mat, and I'll just use that to like check out different parts of a painting and see if there's something in it that I like or not. And then these are some of my little overlapping shape cutouts. These are the ones, those are the crows. And I'm not great at drawing, and so I like to do these on a separate piece of paper so that I get the proportions kind of halfway right. And then I will take these and I'll just lay them onto paper, and sometimes as I lay them onto the paper, I'll rearrange them. And that, to me, that works really well. Sometimes I'll actually take a painting, and if I'm not happy with it, I'll trace over it and I'll cut out the pieces and I'll rearrange them. And sometimes I get something I like better. But that's pretty much it. I'm gonna pull my buoy out and start painting. What are we at time-wise? I gave my phone away.
It is 5:36.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop your screen sharing
Okay.
just so we get a big shot of you.
Oh, thanks.
Anytime.
Okay.
Here we are.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun to see faces.
Here we are.
We should have music.
Mm.
Anybody have any questions at all? Did I totally confuse people?
Amy asked, is the house paint you use to prime the buoys just regular latex house paint? Is it primer?
I used a primer, the underside. Yeah, so that is a primer. And so this has a coat of primer, and then I sanded it real lightly, and then this is just plain house paint. And last year I used just plain house paint, and it worked fine. Yes, Tim? Oh, there's a little hand up there. Oh, my battery. Oh, oh dear.
Do you have a phone?
I don't
Charger? No.
I don't know if my charger's in my blue bag in the other room.
I'll take a look.
It's yeah, it's in that blue bag if it's there, and it might not be.
So this one?
Yes, that bag.
You can paint straight on this primer with watercolors.
What's that?
You can paint straight on this primer with watercolors.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So Francis is trying watercolors, and no, I don't think I grabbed the charger. There is an iPad in there, though. Can we switch over?
We can swap it over to mine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Amy
Libby says,
asked-
do
oh,
we
yes.
think wash would work? And yes, I think it would. Would it need a fixative before the varnish is put on? That I don't know.
What's that?
With gouache, whether it needs a fixative before varnish is put on. I don't know.
I think you can varnish straight over it with acrylic.
Okay. We are going to switch over to a different screen because I thought of everything but my battery charger.
Of course.
Well, I don't know if I thought of everything, but
Cool. So you're good to go there.
okay. I'm going to close this.
Close out.
Close out. Okay. Ooh.
Of course. That's what I'm here for.
I know, you're wonderful. Pardon? Yeah, I think I would be tempted to try, like I would just do a little bit of gouache on something else and then try varnishing it and see. And I've just used regular spar varnish. That seems to be the one that yellows less. I've used that for murals, and it seems like it doesn't yellow terribly. Some varnishes are really bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works. Okay.
I gotta go. So I got another meeting.
What are people doing for their buoys? Anybody have grand ideas going?
Eco says some kind of birds.
Yes, I did sand the buoy before I put the house paint on. Not very much. I know Laura Kaltenstein. She does really intricate paintings on hers, and she likes a very smooth surface. And that, so she sands hers pretty heavily. Spar varnish is probably oil-based, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Frances was saying she used water-based polyurethane, and some of those I've had trouble with yellowing, but maybe not. And they may have improved them too. It's been a while since I did much with the. Okay. Well, I'm thinking about a mural that we did when my children were young. So it's been a long time ago, and water-based polyurethane was pretty new at that point. Yeah. So I would definitely try the water-based polyurethane. And I think that would probably be fine. The spar varnish or the water-based polyurethane, they do great in outdoor weather. I mean, I really, you might have to, years down the line, you might have to recoat it. And then you can, if you do, unless you've got it to a point where it's really peeling away horribly, you can just sand it lightly and put another coat on and it's fine. And if you spill acrylics on things, they really come out well as long as you get it, unless maybe it's phthalo blue, and I've never found phthalo blue comes out very well from anything ever. But anything other than phthalo, you're pretty good. And listen to the rain. Yeah. I missed it. I'm doing a blue heron on this one. I'm doing blue herons. I don't know why I'm on a bird kick. So someone asked Columbus what he used. His turned out great. Columbus? He's what?
Yeah,
Columbus, can you, yeah. Tim wants to know, we all would like to know, what you used last year on yours.
to cover the buoy before I painted it, or the actual paint.
Well, maybe give us a rundown.
I actually used acrylic for everything.
Okay.
I coated it with acrylic, and then I painted my painting with acrylics.
Okay. Just,
I
that sounds
then
like,
then I put a finish on it, and I thought I had it here, but it must be somewhere else. It was just a spray finish that I got at
oh,
Spin
really?
Art.
Okay. I
Let's see if-
wondered if the spray-on ones were good enough to use.
Yeah,
I used spar varnish for mine. And it just takes a tiny amount. It really is not, it really doesn't take much at all. So we were thinking that we could, if people did their buoys, and I mean, we could do it with polyurethane too, that'd be fine, but that we could maybe gather buoys together and hang them somewhere in, maybe in some garage or, an out of the way place and cover them and, or, do the staining there, or the varnishing. Because they really do need, I think a couple of coats is good. Columbus, which one did you do?
I did one like many other people that had a crab on it, kind of on the bottom, looking up at it,
Okay.
and fish, and what else was on it? Yeah, some fish, a crab, and some other sea
Okay.
sea things.
Yeah. I should have shown yours, but I don't know. It probably was on the grouping of buoys that I can't paint that direction. The buoys that I got pictures of, I'm sure yours was in there, but I didn't see it. I didn't realize it was yours. What? Huh. If I send, oh, the buoys, I think they want them by the 1st of May. So we have plenty of time, and sure, I'd love to send you a buoy. Would you like a smallish one? Since we're mailing it to you and mailing it back? Yes, okay. I'll work on it. Yeah, a lot of people did really kind of abstract designs and they're wonderful. And I heard that Jared Galanon's considering doing an etched glass ball. That would be really cool. If I can get my eye in the right place. We need Columbus to be doing the music for us.
Why is that?
Well, you do your show, right?
Yes, I do. I don't know that everybody would be into my music. It's easy to shut the radio off. I don't know how easy it is to shut this off.
Yeah, well, I figure whoever's nice enough to bring music that people are, they're gonna, unless it's really, really horrible, they're gonna appreciate it.
Maybe next time.
And I like your music. Oh, Eco says she wishes they could play music. That would also be fabulous. Yeah, Eco could play music. But yeah, I definitely enjoy your music.
I have to split, so thank you. And I look forward to the next get together.
Okay, well, thank you. And it'll be interesting to see your buoy as it comes along. Yeah, and we'll work on some other aspects of all of this to talk about as we work along for next week. Okay, or next 2 weeks from now. Okay, well,
right.
See you. Bye.
See
Bye,
you.
Columbus. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
What's that? Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to bail too. So, but I thank you. And yeah, it would be fun. This was
You
very,
look forward to a buoy coming?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a
No,
lot.
I'd be happy to get a buoy to you.
Thanks.
I may have to go steal one from a neighbor.
If it's not too much of a hassle, everything is, lots of things are hassles this year.
Well, that doesn't seem like it would particularly be a hassle.
Cool.
We can make
Well,
it work.
thank
Okay.
you. Good
See you,
cause.
Libby.
All right, see you.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I mean, is it? Because yeah, we could. People can certainly keep painting, but it.
I think we should have a get together in a month or so, and everyone bring their buoys and we can all hold them up and put them.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a great idea. To get together, somewhere. I don't know. Maybe
I mean, we could zoom it.
we can Zoom it. Yeah.
Everybody could.
In a.
Everybody could turn the boat up.
Yeah. And we'll show off all our buoys. But I think I really don't have anything more. And I apologize for not having my notes at the ready. Technology bested me yet again. Just so we could end this and people can keep on painting on their own. And soon we'll be back to being able to paint together, which I'm really looking forward to.
Well, that would be so cool if we could have an in-person paint-a-thon.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm going to let you go. I just want to
Okay.
thank you very much for this presentation and the effort that you put in to make this happen. So thank you. I received some special drawing paper today that I want to try out from somebody that was very generous to share some with me. So I'm anxious to get to that. I enjoy these meetings. Please keep me in the loop. I might be able to come up with some buoys. We have a large collection of them on the island where I work that are just sitting in a pile in the woods. So maybe they'll be put to good use. I'll find out, and if so, maybe I could supply them to people who need. Okay.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thanks, Tim.
All right, guys. Thank you very
take
much.
care.
I'm checking out. You have a good night.
Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah. I think, unless if I were at my house and I could, just happily keep painting away, but I'm at Francis's because I don't have decent internet and I feel a little guilty staying here, keeping her from the rest of her life. So I'm going to say we should end this for now, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks and come up with some more art things to work on as we go and show off our buoys or paintings. And thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.